Have you ever suffered from intellectual nausea? It's the disgust and repulsion you feel when you see a genius being mocked by dunces. It's grotesque when the woke quote Nietzsche or say anything approving about him. They are the opposite of Nietzsche in every way. How is it even possible that such people, actual last men, can delude themselves that they are in any sense on Nietzsche's side? It should be declared illegal for these pathetic nobodies, these crawling creeps, whiners and whingers to dare to quote Nietzsche. It shows how bizarre the worldview of wokeness is, how lacking in self-awareness, that woke lunatics imagine that Nietzsche would do anything other than label them Chandala.
Nietzsche said, "Whom do I hate most among the rabble of today?
The socialist rabble, the Chandala apostles, who undermine the instinct, the pleasure, the worker's sense of satisfaction with his small existence, who make him envious, who teach him revenge."
The source of wrong is never unequal rights but the claim of equal rights. Could you imagine a woke influencer ever saying that on one of his dead streams?
Could you imagine one of his brainwashed followers sending that as one of their mindless, monetized super chats?
But we would quote it.
Hell, we just did. Because anyone on the left must have an answer for Nietzsche. Is there a greater challenge than to create a left that Nietzsche would approve of? And, if you could, how could that possibly fail to conquer the world? It would crush all opposition. Nietzsche associated socialism, and democracy and liberalism and Christianity, with equality, not with meaning, value, and worth. He thought the whole game of the left was to annihilate meaning. And, when you look at the malignant liberal left, at wokeness, you see how right he was.
Meaning is what is entirely missing from wokeness.
The left is reduced to diversity, whatever that is, but it is as sure as hell totally meaningless.
The left must be about excellence and meaning.
Otherwise, what's the point?
The left cannot be about nonsense, about nihilism,
about all paths and all truths, about diversity, about people having their own truth, which they are compelled to inflict on everyone else. The left has traditionally been about bringing down the elites, but it needs to be about replacing the elites, being superior to the elites. The workers must be the guardians and advocates of excellence, quality, meaning, creativity, imagination, and the human race getting more and more optimal. Why would we, the workers, not have this aspiration? Is there something wrong with us?
No, there's not.
Our task is to be better than those predator elitists ever were, to have an enormously more powerful vision of what humanity should be. They are a false elite.
We, the workers, shall be the real deal. We will do wonders that these clowns never conceived.
That's why we are the Prometheans, the Hyperboreans, the Faustians.
No one has higher ambitions than we do.
We are the coming race. The Hyperboreans don't listen to the enemies of Apollo. We should live in a world where people from any background go as far as their talents deserve but receive no advantages because of their background. There's a simple word for that: privilege. Meritocracy is all about eliminating privilege so that talent can shine. Who cares what your background is if you're brilliant and can make an immense contribution? But if you're not talented and you are promoted over talented people, that's a disaster. Diversity, which can be defined as the anti-meritocratic project to promote people based on woke ideology rather than talent, is the worst possible ambition. It's not an ambition. It's the refusal to be ambitious. It's about saying that we should not aim for greatness, but simply aim to tell everyone that they're right, all paths and all truths. What is a diversity? It's a bunch of pointless fantasists marching around saying, "The world must listen to my truth and accept, respect and celebrate me, and use whatever pronouns I specify." Diversity is regressive and anti-evolutionary. It's about blocking the rise of the most talented, so that the most politically correct can have their jobs instead. It's all me, me, me. It's blatant pathological narcissism. It's an illness, a disease, a malignancy, an attack on all high, great and noble things.
Nietzsche was spared the horror of seeing woke world. But we already know what he would have thought of it.
because he saw it coming.
He said, liberal institutions cease to be liberal as soon as they are attained. Later on, there are no worse and no more thorough injurers of freedom than liberal institutions.
One knows, indeed, what their ways bring. They undermine the will to power. They level mountain and valley, and call that morality. They make men small, cowardly, and hedonistic. Every time it is the herd animal that triumphs with them.
Liberalism, in other words, herd animalization.
Isn't this the perfect description of wokeness and its illiberal cancel culture and deplatforming mania and its trigger warnings and its snowflakery and infinite sensitivity to microaggressions, and total acceptance and celebration of herd animalization, i.e., accepting, respecting, and celebrating every feature of the herd, i.e. diversity, all paths and all truths, relativism and subjectivity, everyone is right, love and light, unconditional love, peace, man, the eternal now.
Namaste. The woke are the superfluous ones. Nietzsche said, just see these superfluous ones. They steal the works of the inventors and the treasures of the wise. Culture, they call their theft, and everything becometh sickness and trouble unto them. Just see these superfluous ones.
Sick are they always. They vomit their bile and call it a newspaper.
They devour one another, and cannot even digest themselves. Just see these superfluous ones. Wealth they acquire and become poorer thereby.
Power they seek for, and above all, the lever of power, much money. These impotent ones. Yup.
The woke are the last men.
They are here. They are in our midst. We must get rid of them. We must end wokeness and create great humanity that takes on the biggest, toughest, hardest challenges. Nietzsche said, alas, the time of the most despicable man is coming, he that is no longer able to despise himself. Body positivity, anyone? Now, every bungled and botched half-wit and third-wit is to be accepted, respected and celebrated, rather than be told to get a grip and sort themselves out. Because you're not allowed to say that now, of course. Or, as we know, you're a bigot, hater and Nazi if you do.
No one is allowed to pass judgment on anyone or anything.
We are ordered to embrace everyone as they are, and their diversity. We must live like cattle, non-judgmentally in the eternal now, munching grass and admiring all the pretty rainbows and unicorns. Hail New Terra.
Nietzsche said, behold, I show you the last man.
What is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? Thus asks the last man, and he blinks. Nietzsche must have had a premonition of the woke chat, where intelligence goes to die. Seriously, is it even possible to imagine an intelligent wokester? How could any intelligent person hang out in a self-evident cult, a misandrist cult for people who detest the normal world? Nietzsche said, the earth has become smaller, and on it hops the man who makes everything small. We have invented happiness, say the last men, and they blink. Just look at the blinking, hopping last men of wokeness. Everything is so small and petty and trivial and pointless and worthless in their cult world.
But, hey, they're diverse. Woo-hoo.
And that's all that counts in woke world. No one's merit matters. No one's character is relevant. No one's intelligence is ever pertinent. The only thing that counts is that you are diverse and you must be respected and celebrated even if you go around getting innocent people swatted by the FBI because they weren't diverse enough or didn't sacrifice themselves enough for the diverse. Hell, maybe they even dared to criticize the diverse. God forbid. No place for them in the woke New Terra.
Wokeland über alles.
Nietzsche said, I welcome all the signs indicating that a more manly and warlike age is commencing, which will, above all, bring heroism again into honor. Oh no, the woke, in their dresses, aren't going to like that. They despise toxic masculinity, i.e., any masculinity at all. They loathe heroism. They identify with anti-heroes, with villains, with fallen angels, the followers of Satan. Someone literally sent a super chat to a Z-list woke influencer, saying, "Hail Satan and hail New Terra."
And the cult leader read it out.
Wokesters viciously campaign against honor, nobility, judgment, dignity, excellence, quality, intelligence, integrity, morality, and all standards of society. For them, everything revolves around one thing and one thing only:
diversity.
That is the be-all and end-all, that which justifies everything, and nothing else counts. That's wokeness in a nutshell, and the Democratic Party, the wokest party on earth, is its vanguard. Some zealous supporters of the Democratic Party openly say they don't even identify as human.
Well, they're right about that.
The Democratic Party would always denounce Sparta. Sparta is all their nightmares come true.
The Spartans will crush you, you cowards.
You are the actual opposites of Spartans.
You are the archetypal last men.
Why can't the Democratic Party project strength? Why is it always about unicorns and rainbows? Why do so many reduce themselves to stereotypes and caricatures, these one-dimensional laughingstocks?
Grow up.
Stop infantilizing yourselves and stop playing the victim. The Democratic Party has adopted the freak philosophy. Jendi Alamarang wrote, but Todd Ray, the founder and driving force of the Venice Beach Freak Show, rejects the idea that there is nothing left in the world to marvel or wonder at. The Venice Beach Freak Show is taking back a word that used to be an insult.
Freak. We have a freak philosophy, Todd Ray says.
To his cast of performers, freak has come to mean something unique, out of the ordinary.
We don't want to be the next Real Housewives of New Jersey, or whatever, he continues.
We don't want to be anybody but ourselves.
For us, normal is the bad word.
It puts people in a box.
It causes people to struggle with their identity. Because none of us are the same. Being a freak is something to be proud of.
Being normal?
That's the thing to avoid.
A few months ago, the freaks even staged a sweetly hokey funeral for normal, with a casket that they carried like pallbearers. Hundreds of people watched as they chanted, "Say no to normal." Everyone has to understand that Democratic Party world is the inversion of normality, a mockery and parody of the normal world. In the past, the freaks used to parade in front of the normal. Now the normal are to be paraded in front of the freaks. This is New Terra. Victimhood culture is ubiquitous in Wokistan. Everyone plays the victim card. The freaks have one form of magic available to them. One superpower. The power to complain. And they use it constantly, all day every day. They do nothing but whine and bleat and smear everyone, and denounce everyone who's not on board with their freak agenda. They are engaged in attempting to end normal culture and replace it with freak culture.
You people have zero chance of success. The storm is coming for you. You refuse to live in reality. You condemn normality and want to bury normality and say no to normality. Well, where's your army, given that you have declared war on the world? And we know exactly what the world is going to do back: declare war on you. Nietzsche said, "I have often laughed at the weaklings who thought themselves good because they had no claws." That's the woke for you. Nietzsche said, "He who humbleth himself wants to be exalted." That's the woke, again. Nietzsche said, that every will must consider every other will its equal, would be a principle hostile to life, an agent of the dissolution and destruction of man, an attempt to assassinate the future of man, a sign of weariness, a secret path to nothingness. Wokeness is that assassin. But it's the one that will be assassinated. Nietzsche said, "In the end things must be as they are and have always been. The great things remain for the great, the abysses for the profound, the delicacies and thrills for the refined, and, to sum up shortly, everything rare for the rare. The working class must be great and thus take ownership of all great things, all greatness. We must purge ourselves of the enemies of greatness, the woke." For them, diversity is the crucial word, not greatness. They are repulsed by greatness. Nietzsche said, "All great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the hearts of humanity."
Indeed. They don't clutch sparkly toy unicorns. Nietzsche said, "A living thing seeks above all to discharge its strength. Life itself is will to power." So say all enemies of wokeness. Wokeness is all about trying to destroy the will to power. The meek and weak, the powerless Chandala, are to be placed on the thrones on which once sat great, strong human beings. Nietzsche said, "The free man is a warrior. Hence there are no free people in woke world." Nietzsche said, "The sick are the greatest danger for the healthy. It is not from the strongest that harm comes to the strong, but from the weakest. That's precisely why the woke must be vanquished." Nietzsche said, "One must need to be strong. Otherwise one will never become strong. The woke seek to eliminate any need for strength. They are repulsed by strength. It nauseates them. These are the quintessence of weakness, feebleness, being utterly pathetic and pointless." Nietzsche said, "A man far oftener appears to have a decided character from persistently following his temperament than from persistently following his principles. The woke do everything on the basis of their emotions. They have no principles and no morals at all. These people are evil, pure and simple. They actually use fallen angel emojis. Can you believe it? They are devil worshippers." Nietzsche said, "Happiness is the feeling that power increases. That resistance is being overcome. Not in woke world. There, power always decreases." Nietzsche said, "Danger alone acquaints us with our own resources, our virtues, our armor and weapons, our spirit, and forces us to be strong. The woke seek to eliminate danger. They refuse to take any risks. They refuse to dare. They are cowards, always playing the victim card. These poltroons and weaklings. They are nauseating. Humanity must not be like this, like these people." Nietzsche said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. The woke let themselves be led in every way by their cult leaders. They have zero agency." Nietzsche said, "Virtue has come to consist of doing something in less time than someone else. That's predatory capitalism for you." Nietzsche said, "Freedom means that the manly instincts which delight in war and victory dominate over other instincts, for example, over those of pleasure. Not in woke world." Nietzsche said, "How is freedom measured, in individuals as in nations? By the resistance which must be overcome, by the effort it costs to remain on top. All resistance is annihilated in woke world, hence no one is free. Wokeness is total degeneration." Nietzsche said, "Life is continually shedding something that wants to die. The woke must be shed. They are death." Nietzsche said, "No power can maintain itself if only hypocrites represent it. Hence wokeness will perish." Nietzsche said, "One will rarely err if extreme actions be ascribed to vanity, ordinary actions to habit, and mean actions to fear. The woke, the sick gang of malignant narcissists, are ruled by vanity and fear of exposure." Nietzsche said, "The first opinion that occurs to us when we are suddenly asked about a matter is usually not our own, but only the customary one, appropriate to our caste, position, or parentage. Our own opinions seldom swim near the surface. That's a very disturbing but true observation." Nietzsche said, "Silence is worse. All truths that are kept silent become poisonous." Professor Sam Bachman speaks of malignant egalitarianism. That's the quintessence of wokeness. The woke are malignant in every way, and all on the basis of diverse egalitarianism. They never have anything to say about merit. The true left is a meritocratic left. Talent rules all. Nietzsche said, "You will never get the crowd to cry Hosanna until you ride into town on an ass. Did you see the DNC?" So, all of these malignant narcissists ride into their cult arena on an ass, and all their cult slaves cry Hosanna. Hail New Terra.